This is Your Favorite Character Sucks with John.
Oh, we're rolling. Matt.
And Brandon.
A podcast where we look at characters in our favorite books and decide which is the best. Well, not just books, right? Movies, TV shows.
Any form of media, really, yeah.
Right. How does one determine media? How does one determine what the best character is? Well, with our extensive literary knowledge and a level of confidence possessed only by an American man, we can discover the answer to any question. Before we begin, my conscience would not let me go on without first saying that this podcast has assumed you are familiar with the series being discussed. If you haven't read, listened to, watched, or gone on an acid trip that has revealed to you the plot of the series under discussion, then you should stop listening now until you've read or watched whatever we're talking about. You have been warned. On today's episode, we horse around with Bojack Horseman. All right.
Wait, I'm not ready.
So everyone's ready.
No,
I guess it's time to start recording.
that's false.
This is the Bojack Horseman episode of the podcast.
We actually starting? See, that Lily just said he wasn't ready.
I have to start now because in every episode we have Matt say, "Are we starting now? Do we actually start?"
Never ready.
He's never ready. It's the fans have come to expect it, and when I say fans, I'm barely able to put that S there.
It's just me, actually.
Fan.
Fan.
And now that he's here.
And then my mom, I don't know if that counts as a fan. She's like, I didn't get it, but it sounded okay. Anyway, we're here with our guest. He comes all the way from Dallas. He also traveled from Dallas too. His name, what's your name? You want to introduce
Sebastian.
What's your last name and
Social Security?
last four digits of your social?
So I wanted to talk about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I had you come and talk to me about on the John Gets Lit episode.
Yeah,
It was great. But you were like, nah, I don't want to talk about anything that could be like popular. So let's talk about Bojack
It's
Horseman.
very popular, I feel.
And then later we'll be recording Avatar: The Last Airbender, so that'll be another episode that people will
Oh,
listen
you
to.
want people to know that was recorded back to back? I
I
think
think
you're
that's
trying to fake.
a little inside baseball.
Like you just had me come back months later.
Yeah.
That's true. That's what we're going to do. This is an episode of this podcast that we have to, I feel like, talk about the show a little bit before we even introduce the characters we like, because I feel like it's the kind of show that people look at and they're like, what the fuck? And they don't watch it.
It's just an American cartoon.
Right? It's a cartoon.
I was definitely
It's
skeptical.
weird. However, what we like about it, I think, or what I like about it, I'll speak for myself. These are my I statements, yeah.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Is that it is a cartoon and it's very weird. It's like a horse is the main character, and they do make
It's
stupid
not
like
just a horse.
yeah. It's
Right?
Horseman.
It's a horse
he's the main
man.
character. Horseman. That's a good point. He's got
No, it
human,
does- it is
he has
very
human
important,
legs.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weird animal type people, characters going around, and they do make a lot of stupid puns. He was on a '90s show called Horsing Around, which is like it's like Full House. It's one of those kind of shows. Yeah. But the great thing about it is that it is about a guy who was on that formulaic type of sitcom, and then this is not formulaic. Like this is a very long form watching this character not evolve, but then also evolve. Like he's constantly searching for what will make him happy. He's a very like depressed character, and alcohol is one thing he turns to. But then also I feel like every season he's got like a focal point. Like this is going to make me happy. I'm going to do this thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a book written about me. Is like how the first season starts, and Diane's going to be his ghostwriter, and that's how Diane gets
Well, I
in
think
it.
it's
Voiced
not him who's
by
writing the book, right?
maybe, but he can't write. He's not good at it, and he can't focus. And so then he gets Diane, who is voiced by
Alison Brie.
Alison Brie, awesome. But she's playing a Vietnamese character,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I wanted to bring up.
Okay, is
Why
that kind
couldn't
of
she just be white? What's the issue?
well?
Or why couldn't they get an Asian voice actor?
The Vietnamese
Well,
episode
meta.
was cool, but I
It's
don't
meta
think it's meta.
because-
I think it's just they just didn't get
No,
it.
because you see, BoJack Horseman also has that commentary on Hollywood.
He does.
So this is just a meta on top of that, where they have
I don't
this
think so.
Vietnamese
I don't think so either.
character.
I think
What do you
it's
mean?
just
I think Alison
No,
Brie.
I think that's just a problem with
Hollywood in general.
acting and voice acting.
yeah.
It's just mostly white.
Is it because that no ethnic parents encourage their kids to go into voice acting?
Is that right? They're always like, be a doctor.
Yeah, my parents didn't. What about your parents? What
Oh.
about your parents? I mean, not that we turned out any better. In fact, we're probably much worse there than
Yeah.
just voice
My
acting.
parents are disappointed that I'm not a voice actor.
Yeah.
No.
They wanted me to be Goku because I can do I can do that really well. So
Yet again, Goku.
I've done an
Interesting character.
I've done an impersonation on every podcast. I'm glad that is the one that's going to be on this one because I can't do any other BoJack impersonation. So
You can't?
Maybe I could.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wants to get that book made. He thinks that book's going to make him happy. Maybe it doesn't. He wants to become Secretariat in the Secretary movie in the second or third season. Getting that part you think would make him happy. It doesn't. Then he's on a TV show. It's like the most successful TV show ever. Still finds ways to ruin it. So, I don't know. It's cool because it's like very serious topics. Like you said, it takes on Hollywood, like legitimately. Like there's a lot of like the Me Too movement kind of stuff comes in, I think, a little bit. There's a whale character in the most recent season that is sort of like a mega rich guy who's like buying up media and keeping things hush hush or like letting things out.
Whale?
He is a whale.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the great white whale is a metaphor in the whole series because I feel like Bojack is constantly chasing a thing that he will not obtain because
you're a layer.
It's yeah. He's always chasing something happiness and he won't get it because he thinks that things and events will make him happy when really if you just let things be and whatever. I think that's the point of the show. So the show's like super deep. It's got these puns and it's weird and strange looking, but it's like super deep. And I've heard people say on the reviews that I watched the past week, like people that are like, I've dealt with depression and this show like I feel like this show gets me. So like it's people like connect with the show.
You're telling me that you're not familiar enough with depression to connect with the show on that level?
I've never been depressed. No.
Okay, good, perfect.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think you speak for everybody when you say that.
Yeah. Okay. So best character in all of BoJack Horseman. A really complex show and a lot of complex characters, except for one that I'm gonna honorable mention, which is Todd Sanchez. Is that his last name, Sanchez?
Yeah.
No. Chavez.
Todd Chavez, fucking racist.
That's another tally.
Such a racist. That's a tally. Todd Hernandez is his name.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, his character's name is what? Todd Chavez. Todd Chavez. I love Todd. He's not my favorite character because he's not complex enough. He's pretty much the same type of thing.
I do love him though.
But he's
a good character.
He's just a goofy dude who like I love him because
The only one separated from.
He's the opposite of BoJack. He's not looking for happiness and he's just happy because he just takes it as it is and goes with the flow and happiness comes to him. He's constantly succeeding. And the only person who messes up his success is BoJack. He's friends with BoJack. He like crashes at BoJack's house. How did that even start?
They're just old friends.
It was like a
No, I think
flashback. There was a party
he
or
showed up
something.
at a party and he just never left.
Yeah. So he's just like a hanger on, but he has had so much success just accidentally.
Yeah.
And even when like bad things come towards his way, like he is able to dodge them pretty easily. Like that sex robot that became CEO, which that was the Me Too movement thing. They made like a sex robot became the CEO of like a production company, and the sex robot is literally saying like, "Bang me," like and like shooting lube out and stuff like that. It's not a show for kids, even though it's a cartoon about a horse.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway. And like everyone's just like, oh, you got such great ideas, sex bot. And then, but then like finally, like he says something that's not even that dirty, and like somebody construes it as like a come on, and then he gets like sued for sexual harassment, and like all these other people start coming forward, and they're like, I never thought about it, but when Sexbot said "fuck me harder," I think he actually meant this, and yeah, it's so fucking good, dude. Anyway, so Todd though was kind of responsible for that, but then still somehow managed to just be like, oh well, I'm not working in this production company anymore, I guess, like, and just moved on to a new thing.
Yeah.
Developed an app for asexual people because he's not attracted to any sex. Like he has no sexual. One of the best episodes in the series too, when he goes to his asexual partner, they're not sexual, they're just partners together. He goes to her house. And she's a type of like lizard. What is that? It's like a it's like a salamander that's asexual or whatever. And he goes to her house and her family, it's like the opposite of like when you're together and you go to your family's house and it's like you feel weird being affectionate because you're in front of family. But like their family's got like buckets of lube and like they like expect it and they like want them to be sexual and like go upstairs and do it now. But like the secret that they don't want them to find out is that they're not sexual.
Yeah.
Such a good episode. I fucking love that episode so much. And it's like very like stupid, silly humor. Like so good.
What other good honorable mentions?
I don't know. You want to knock your honorable mentions out? Vincent Adultman. Oh my god.
That is his name, right? I know it's definitely certainly Vincent.
Vincent Adultman, who dates Princess Carolyn, one of her many flings throughout the series. What do you mean?
You calling her a hoe?
I am, yeah. She's
It's messed up actually, but
I love the like lines like shit. Some people just don't know how to. Some people are so immature, and he's just like, I know, like, and just two kids stacked on top. It's
these 3 kids in a trench coat.
3 kids in a trench coat. Vincent Adultman. Who made that character? Who in the writers' room suggested that character and made it a viable character with like a whole? It lasts for seasons.
He's got a backstory.
Yeah. So I think that's what's great about the show is like it is a serious show hidden under the mask of a cartoon. But then also the cartoonistic, like, it allows them to do certain things. Like the most recent season where Princess Carolyn has a baby, and it shows her... Well, they've listened to it, hopefully.
I haven't seen it, though, so it's funny for me.
Oh, shit.
She's adopted a porcupine.
Okay.
And life's hard with a kid. And so it's showing how hard life is, and it shows, like, her, but then, like, she goes out of her body as, like, an outlined version of herself, which you couldn't do.
Like astral projection.
Almost like an astral projection, but it shows, like, her doing everything. You know what I'm talking about, Joe? Y'all see that?
It's a very good episode.
Yeah, and like there's one where she's like shaking a rattle, so it becomes very musical too because it's like one shaking a rattle and the other one's like, you know, it's okay, and it's like it all kind of like starts to sound like something orchestrated, you know. And so I think that there's things in the cartoon that you can't do with a real show, absurd stuff, you know, just absurd stuff that makes the serious stuff more palatable, and then the serious stuff is pretty raw and pretty good. So honorable mentions out of the way, BoJack Horseman. I think is obviously the best character of the series. He's the titular character, although it's hard to like him because he's like a Walter White. Who else do we compare him to? Just like a crappy guy. He's like not a good guy. Like I don't know who else we compare him to, but Walter White. You know, like
it's like bad by circumstance.
You don't want to. You're rooting for him because he's the main character, but you shouldn't be rooting for him.
Oh, we're also talking about Rick. Just
Rick from Rick and Morty.
Like
yeah.
Very interesting character, but
you're entertained.
Terrible person.
Yeah,
piece of shit overall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he's got a lot of depth. I think that he doesn't grow very much, but I think that is the cycle of abuse. Like he's experiencing alcoholism and all that stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'm better now. I'm doing this thing, and then he falls back into it. I think that he's not growing because that's his character. I think he's an addict, and I think he just keeps falling back into these cycles of depression and addiction and stuff like that. Which it kind of seems like he might be breaking out of it finally after going to rehab in like the last season. God, this is a cartoon. This is a cartoon, but. Now that he's breaking out of it, it's like all the things that he's done in his past because of that addiction are starting to come back to light, and so he might not escape those things. Like even though he can finally, maybe he's going to finally kick his addiction. Who knows? He might not escape those things. So I don't know. I like BoJack. I think that he's a good front runner. He's a good character, even though he doesn't evolve too much. I think that's part of his character.
I can understand how someone would think that. Yeah, I mean, you would just think it. It doesn't have to be wrong,
no,
right? In this particular instance, it is wrong. But all right, who else? Who else is good in this show?
All right, I think the best character is Princess Carolyn.
Who's a cat.
She's a cat. She's also
voiced by God damn.
Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris, very good.
Very good casting.
Yes.
She is an agent. And I think I like her the most because she kind of balances out the show to me because you have the depressed fuck-ups like Bojack and Diane.
Hold up now.
And then you have the, like...
I think Diane is depressed too.
Oh,
yeah.
Super depressed.
And then you have, like, the super carefree people. But I think...
Mr. Peanut Butter and Todd, yeah.
But Princess Carolyn, I feel like... she grounds that group of four people and kind of like brings them together. Mm-hmm. She does like everything for everyone. Anytime any of those other characters have an issue, she's there to help solve it. And I would say without her, half those characters would probably just be dead at this point because they're either stupid or just have very severe issues, and she's always there to help.
Or both.
She's Bojack's like longtime agent.
Yeah, and they used to date.
They did.
So they're very close.
I don't know. Did they date or were they just
I think they
banging
together?
They're like fuck buddies, basically.
Yeah. But also, I think
a cat and a horse.
Her character is good because it also shows how much more difficult it is for a woman to be in like show business because she's constantly struggling and working her ass off and
not getting much credit.
Yeah, she never quite gets like the success she wants, but she also never loses hope, and she's just yeah. I think
I never thought about her as being like central, but she is. Yeah, you're right. She's a spoke or not a spoke. She's definitely
a supporting character, but she's very central to all the other characters' lives. Yeah.
Personality-wise and what she does. I agree with that. Yeah, and Amy Sedaris, one of my favorite things about that character is the lines that they have her read. Oh, yeah. They have her read some crazy absurd lines.
Her wordplay jokes are insane.
Amy Sedaris literally will say the most absurd sentence ever.
Yeah.
I don't know how she can even read them sometimes.
With
they're insane.
Yeah, just tons of rhyming and alliteration.
Yeah,
that's pretty
God
crazy.
dang it. Tongue twisters, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, reading is pretty hard when I think about it. Not trying to downplay anybody's ability to read.
Yeah, it's just undermining Amy
Yeah.
Sedaris, I guess. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's actually fucked. I'm
Just an unskilled male telling this successful woman that she's not that good at her job. It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is the defense.
He's being meta because of
I'm pulling it back to another dimension.
Yeah.
That's what makes me skilled, actually.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I don't appreciate my character being called fucka, as true as it may be. But my favorite character is Diane. I think she's the true insert character, even though it's called Bojack. She's young and driven. One of the first humans you get to see in the show.
That's true.
A lot of animals.
That is
very
true.
Strange.
Yeah, she's absurd because she's a human.
Lots of relatable things. She fucks a dog. She's moral.
Yeah. Which is normal in the show to have sex with animals because half of the population or more are animals.
In the show. Yeah.
Yeah, in the show.
Wait.
No, in the real world, animals, by far, non-humans, many more of them than humans.
People already know my stance on dogs. Well, they might not. I don't know if the Futurama episode will air before this, but they know my stance on dogs.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And yours.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Anyway.
But I think she's also one of the more complex characters, dealing with ups and downs, and also the voice of reason a lot when it comes to Bojack. Because I feel like whenever Bojack's going through something, she's very close to him, and so we'll get a different perspective on.
Yeah, but arguably, I think Bojack and her are bad for each other.
Probably.
That's exactly what I think.
Everybody in the show is bad for everybody.
Except for Princess Carolyn. She's helped. She brings everyone up, I think.
But apparently, it wasn't enough for Bojack.
Yeah, but
it's not enough. But one person can only do so much for someone else.
I mean, I guess that's true. You'd say you can lead a horse to water.
This is the kind of joke you will hear on Bojack Horseman as well.
That type of thing.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. All right, Matt. Oh,
I didn't write that. I'm just clever.
No, I just like her perspective and her as a character. I think she's a lot more relatable than the other characters. Yeah. Bojack, for instance, people say they can relate to him because of depression and stuff like that. But Diane's also depressed and not a millionaire. And
I think she's
not
more
relatable
to people our age for sure.
Yeah.
She's also. She stands out. If she was actually voiced by a Vietnamese actress, would you like her more or less?
Probably more.
Okay, more. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus, that's what it's about.
But I love Alison Brie.
Yeah, Alison Brie's awesome.
I know she was with Alison Brie.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead, me.
Yeah, you like to go last. Well, there's no one left in the room. No one left in the room. So.
Well, there's still 4 of us left in the room, but I'm the last one who hasn't selected a hero.
A hero? What are we playing? League of Legends?
This is Super Smash Bros.
What I'm saying is they're all heroes in this earth. Okay, so here's the deal. Mr. Peanut Butter.
Mm-hmm. Who is a dog?
He is a dog. Mr. Peanut Butter is the best character because he acts as a foil to Bojack. Mm-hmm. He's the other side of Bojack because he also starred in some shitty 90s sitcom thing, right? But outwardly, he appears to be very happy and carefree and happy-go-lucky.
I think he just is, though, isn't he?
Is that the case, though?
Is he upset? Is he depressed?
I feel like the core of Bojack and Peanut Butter are exactly the same. They're just the way that they handle the depression is a lot different.
I don't know. Is he depressed?
There are aspects of Peanut Butter that lend itself towards depression.
They do try to make him the face of depression in the newest season,
and it's a joke because
it's a ploy by Princess Carolyn to get him back in good.
She's literally
standing.
Trying to make memes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
is sad dog memes. Yeah. She's also showing how stupid the public can be with perceiving a person who's done wrong and done right and accepting them back. We get tricked into accepting some people back. We cancel other people.
Like who?
I don't know. I'm just
Are you saying who's been back? Who's back?
Yeah, there are people that we allow back and people we don't.
Chris Brown.
I don't.
Some people allow Chris Brown back.
I think majority he's back.
I don't think he's back.
He's on the radio.
I will not listen to him. Yeah, he's on the radio though.
Maybe just featured.
Yeah,
but he's definitely on the radio.
He's on the radio.
Mr. Peanut Butter is also handling depression in some form. I assume every character in this show is handling some form of depression.
Okay.
So why would Mr. Peanut Butter be any differently? Like I say, it's just the way that he deals with it and outwardly shows it is a lot different. So instead of going into alcohol or drugs. He's always trying to chase something, much like an actual dog. I think so. The things that he's always working on some sort of project or something like that.
With Todd,
he's a workaholic.
With Todd, a lot of time, but a lot of that stuff doesn't actually make him happy.
I guess.
He's always with some different, like even after Diane and stuff, he dates like
he dates a pug,
an actual dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some like fuck up and stuff. But the point is, that
he cheats on the pug with Diane. And then in the newest season, the pug has like a social media following who they lash out at him, and that's why he has to be the face of depression to bring him back. So yeah, Caroline has found a way to get him back into good races.
He agrees to let her sleep with someone until she feels that they're even. But she just keeps doing it. She's like, it wasn't satisfying. And later she's like, I've slept with 200 guys and I still don't feel better. I guess I just got to keep trying.
That's a lot of dudes.
Yes.
I don't even know 200 guys.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, I think that you might be right. I don't think he's as depressed.
Oh, no, I mean, maybe not as depressed. There's no professionals.
To me, he's more like Todd, whereas
all 5 degrees of depression here.
To me, he's more like Todd, whereas he's happy. He's not chasing. Or I guess maybe I don't know. Is he chasing stuff? What is he chasing?
I mean, he certainly appears to be happy. What I'm saying is he's never. I mean, he always says that he's happy and satisfied. But if you're happy and satisfied, nobody that's actually happy has to state that they're happy. Gotcha. I mean, doing all these things outwardly doesn't mean that on the inside. And I think that since he is the other side of Bojack, I mean, at the core they are the same. But like I said, it's the way they deal with it.
You're like the Joker and Batman and the Killing Joke, is what you're saying, like.
I mean, yeah, in some way, yeah, certainly. I mean, they are the same person. It's just like one fundamental thing that changes who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Peter
Alan Moore.
hurt people for his own happiness and things like that.
Is he?
I mean, he's willing to sleep with Diane.
Yeah.
And other things like that. I mean, like I said, they might not be as severe.
Yeah.
But certainly there are aspects of Mr.
But I feel like that was more a Diane reveal than a Mr. Peanut Butter. That was Diane coming back and hurting someone who was happy.
Cheating, right?
Yeah, but if it's an ex-flame, like, you might be, like, more inclined, like, I don't know. I can't remember what the situation was that led to them sleeping together, but you could see it happening. One person could be more involved in, like, starting it, initiating it, right? I don't know. So I feel like it was Diane hurting him.
The Asian woman is more at fault here.
Always.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
You heard it.
He likes dogs more than Asian women.
That's messed up. In some ways, you're calling an Asian woman less than a dog, which is super messed up.
Oh boy, that's getting coverage.
What if we don't want to?
Nothing cats.
Yeah, you're canceling my voice out here.
This is what happens when you let a white man write history.
It's honestly,
our voice just gets erased.
It's honestly fucked. Yeah, without a doubt.
Come on, nerds. You know what it is. Every episode I get on here and beg you to follow us and like our stuff and blah, 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 blah. If you haven't done it by now, then you're just lazy. Twitter and Instagram at YFCSPod. Hit the subscribe button. Like, rate it. If you want to be extra, you can review it. Just a little thing like, hey, this is an awesome podcast. Click, reviewed, done. All right, not going to waste any more of your time. Back to the show. I think the episodes that are the most memorable are probably like the underwater episode. That's one that people talk about a lot.
That one won an award.
Did it win an award?
Yeah.
What did it win?
Or at least was nominated.
For what?
An Emmy?
Something.
Oh, animated something? Okay.
Is this from a season
I haven't
seen? Because I don't know this.
Look it up.
This was like season...
Look it up. Season 3? 2 or 3? Yeah, a woman that was directing Secretariat. So again, it goes into women in Hollywood. The woman who was directing the Secretariat movie wanted to include a scene that made Secretariat look bad. And another person who was involved in it didn't really want that to happen. And like Bojack, it came down to like Bojack could sort of help her and like keep her on or not, and he didn't really help her. She got fired.
Much like how he didn't help the dude who wrote Horsing Around.
Oh, yeah. Not only did he not help that guy, I feel like he threw him under the bus and got rid of that guy.
He shitted on him. And he never gets disclosure from that, too. He just gets fully shitted on.
Yeah.
Which is how it would be.
Yeah. No, it should be.
I would never,
And that's the point of the show is that, like, it doesn't... A sitcom ends in a very nice, like, wrapped bow. Like,
everybody learns a lesson.
Somebody does something bad, they learn a lesson, they apologize, and then they get forgiven. End of story. Next episode. But in this show, yeah, you can... I mean, Bojack apologizes, but...
I think it's sincere.
But that guy's like... that guy's like, no, I'm not going to forgive you. You don't always get closure. You don't always get, what you want.
Annie Awards. So
Annie Awards.
More low-key,
Animation?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Best audience animated television.
Yeah. It's just a guy who's a fan of Anakin Skywalker, and he made an award ceremony for it called the Annie Awards.
Not like the musical Annie.
Yeah. Not that.
Okay.
It's every time someone goes up for an award, they play audio. It's working, like stuff like
That's
that.
my favorite quote from Phantom Menace. Anyway.
Why do we always talk about Star Wars? The Phantom Menace, too. We talk about the Phantom Menace every time.
Topical.
Every time it
We're
gets
talking
there.
about whiny losers.
Yeah, I talked about pod racing
don't get
game
closure.
on the Watchmen episode.
All I guess Darth Vader does get closure in this instance. It just takes a couple eps.
Eps. They're called
episodes,
episodes, 100%. But the other good episode that I like is the churro. What is it called? It's called like El Churro or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? It's the one where he does the monologue, the 17-minute monologue at the funeral.
Oh yeah, the funeral episode.
Which like I've seen people say like that's one of the best monologues that have been on television. Like there's people that it's on a cartoon.
On television, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Netflix is streaming, but they still call it a TV show.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Anyway, 17-minute monologue, Bojack. Also voiced by Will Arnett. I haven't brought that up yet, but I fucking love Will Arnett. His voice is amazing.
17 minutes is a long time to monologue. I felt uncomfortable when we were watching Marriage Story. That shit was only like 5 minutes. It felt
that
so
shit
long.
felt like an eternity.
It felt so long.
And it was boring.
You know what's the perfect the perfect length for a monologue? It's like Gladiator.
I don't even... The one where he's in the middle of the thing.
It's the classic one.
I remember...
Won an Academy Award for that.
What's the one that Louis did on that show? Rest in peace. But that show he did that was on his website.
Canceled.
Remember what's her name? Yeah. For good reason, yeah.
You're talking about Horace and Pete?
Horace and Pete.
Which was actually a good show.
It was a fine show. And a lot of good actors and actresses on it that will not get any support for that show anymore because of the guy who made it, wrote it, directed it, and acted in it.
It's
I even purchased that show.
And yeah. Oh boy. But anyway, what's her name? The chick is from Roseanne and other things. She's on an HBO show where she played a nurse, but I can't remember her name. Anyway, she did a monologue on that show.
Edie Falco or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Wow, what an A.
Edie Falco doesn't do that. Edie Falco is on that show.
Oh, who?
But it's not Edie Falco. It's the one who does the monologue about. She's in the show. Louis is like who's named Pete or Horace or whatever. It's not going on the fucking podcast. Who cares? Anyway, I think that's why Bojack is such a great character. He's on. I mean, not why he's such a great character. That's proof that he's such a great character. Is that the iconic episodes? Most of the time, he is the main person involved. I mean, he's the main person. His name is Bojack. Yeah. But this podcast did start with the conceit of the main character always sucks. That was one thing that you and Brandon said.
Well, Bojack does suck.
Yeah, no, I still agree.
But I think Bojack is a good character, whether he sucks or not. Yeah, he's an asshole. But
you want him to make the right decisions because he's always at forks, and you want him to do better.
He does sometimes. He does do the right thing sometimes, but a lot of times the way that they keep the show going is he does the right thing, but it's too late. It's like the other characters won't forgive him, or the other characters are like, dude, it doesn't make a difference now.
It restarts the cycle.
Yeah, it restarts the cycle. Yeah.
That's true. What are other good Bojack eps? I just like ones where he fucks up.
So
every episode.
Yeah.
There's one where he visits that deer.
Oh yeah, that one's
that's the whole season. Yeah, and that's the one I can't jive with at all. That one's the hardest one for me.
That was messed up.
I mean, yes,
that's what's coming back to haunt him now too.
Yeah,
I think professionally since then.
Well, also his co-star's death also has messed him up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like it feels like a Lindsay Lohan type character.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Except Lindsay Lohan is still alive.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Because she didn't have Bojack.
Yeah.
That's true.
Bojack kind of helped her. No, the deer thing is weird. Like,
no way.
It's like a 17-year-old girl, and he.
Oh, it's weird in the fact that
he tries to have sex with her. Yeah, like he's awful.
It's just bad.
He's awful. Yeah, you cannot root for this guy. Like that's like.
So it's weird that you're rooting for him now.
I'm not. I'm saying he's a good character. I don't condone his actions, but I think he's a complex character.
There are very few actions of Bojack's that you can condone.
He does some nice things every now and then.
Like what?
He lets Todd crash on his couch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But more out of self-interest. He doesn't want to be alone.
Todd Velasquez.
Princess Carolyn now because she's a much better person.
That's true.
True.
Todd Velasquez. But
what?
Princess Carolyn. Princess Carolyn. Also voiced by a white actor. She's a
cat, so I feel a lot.
I'm talking about Todd.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But also, isn't Todd just a white dude, and it's his stepdad?
It's his stepdad. I think so. Yeah. But why does he have the last name then? Anyway, Princess Caroline, though, yeah, she's taking him in. But also, what are great moments for Princess Caroline? I said the episode where she had the baby, and we got to see that. That was a really cool episode. I love that one a lot.
Yeah. So now that's like her newest challenge, in addition to all the showbiz shit. And keeping all of her friends on track. She finally has a baby, which she's wanted for several seasons.
She's getting something that she actually wants.
But now, as soon as she gets it, she realizes how difficult it is.
To be a single mom?
Yeah, while maintaining her full-time, extremely demanding job.
Yeah.
And she's worried. She's worried that she isn't loving the baby as much as she should, and she's not sure how to deal with that.
Also, with no systems of support, even single moms have systems of support.
And you know, too, like I said, we saw her her personal life in the first season is her work.
Yeah.
Even so much that she's screwing her client, Bojack. You know what I mean? So, literally, that is her entire life is just her work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's sort of gotten away from that a little bit, but still her work is so demanding. But also, we've seen, her get into better and better relationships as the series goes on. And then she gets together with that mouse dude.
Was it a mouse?
I think he was a mouse, yeah.
That's so rat.
Reminded me of Mouse, that book, the graphic novel that's about World War II. You know what I'm talking about? No? Mouse?
Too deep.
Some people know what I'm talking about in here. The animation
Nobody that is currently listening knows what that shit is.
No one currently listening, because y'all the only ones listening currently, but you're saying...
Nobody currently or concurrently listening will know what that is.
Mouse, the graphic novel. The guy, the animation in that comic, that mouse looks kind of like those.
So it's like Redwall.
No.
Well, there's a mouse. The mouse is the main character.
It's historical fiction
depicted historical fiction as well.
No, it is not. It's a fantasy.
They're real places.
All right. Anyway,
the abbey in which they live is a real place, is it not? In Redwall?
I have no idea.
Somebody look that up for me.
Forget about that. That guy is better for her.
Forgotten.
Yeah.
But then there's the one thing is he doesn't want to have kids. And she does. Yeah. And so it's like her character finally starts to get something cool, which is a relationship that she does want. And then she has to throw it away because she wants to have a kid.
She knows exactly what she wants, and she's unwilling to compromise it.
That's pretty cool.
But that's how John thinks it should be too, especially about kids.
I do. You shouldn't be with somebody. I think what they did was smart. I think that relationship should have ended.
Having a kid with someone who doesn't want one.
No, that is a bad idea.
Yeah, not good.
If you think that I'll have a kid with this person, I might like kids later. Don't put a kid through that. That's the message of this podcast. Your favorite kid sucks, or what is it?
Wait,
that's okay.
Or you'll have two kids, and you'll very clearly have a favorite kid.
Your favorite idea.
Feel that resentment for the
your
rest of your
favorite
life.
ideas about marriage.
Inevitable.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Imagine having two kids and liking one more than the other.
It's crazy.
Insane.
You good, Matt?
No.
Okay.
Matt's the favorite. He doesn't have anything to worry about.
Okay.
True. But what about you guys, though?
That's Mouse.
That just looks like a man with a mask.
I think this is the artist from Mouse. It's a...
Yeah.
It says why Mouse remains one of the best graphic novels ever written 30 years later.
Crazy, none of us heard.
Okay, look.
Yeah,
look at that guy. He kind of looks like that blue...
Just a humanoid mouse, man?
Humanoid mouse, but it's similar animation, I feel like, to
that guy. And the fact that is a mouse that has been drawn.
All right. So anyway, he kind of looks like Mickey Mouse.
We'll post it on the Twitter.
It looks a little bit like Tom? Which one's the mouse?
Are you kidding me?
Tomcat?
Yeah.
Hello?
Jerry Mouse, duh. No.
Yeah, I feel like if you can figure one out, the other one's pretty obvious.
All right.
What's the name of the dog?
The dog?
The dog is the third most.
Yeah, I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
Is it generic? I feel like it's something generic, like Rufus or Buster or something.
Rufus,
like
probably, yeah.
Rufus.
Spike.
Also, is it
Spike? No, you might really be Spike.
It sounds correct.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, but
pretty sure one of the women, because there's different women who are in charge of the household.
Absolutely.
One of them is a mammy.
No, absolutely.
One of them is a mammy.
Absolutely not good. Very bad.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
She just
crap.
beats the shit out of Tom with the broom.
Well, I'm fine with that. I have no issue with that.
You only ever see her at Cankles.
Is that why we haven't seen Tom and Jerry in 20 years?
No.
Yeah.
We've become too aware.
We haven't seen Tom and Jerry in 20 years?
No,
Is that what Trump means when he says "Make America Great Again"? He wants to bring back the Tom and Jerry with the mammy. Song of the South. He wants to bring it
Can we
back.
get that on Disney Plus? I want to rewatch. Disney's a bunch of cowards.
You really have to go deep for a Song of the South.
Oh God. No one wants to see that. Fuck Disney. Anyway,
Agreed.
So, Princess Carolyn, she's constantly in pursuit of, I feel like she needs to get away from work, and she finally does start to focus on her personal life. But yeah, she lost a man that she was in love with because he didn't want what she wanted. Now she's got a kid, which she wanted, but it's hard.
But I think
she's a good mother because she cares. Having thoughts like, "Am I doing enough?" That's the thing a good mother thinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A bad mother is the kind of mother who's like, "That's how I was raised."
What if you're
what I mean?
doing enough though, and you never question yourself? You could be doing an excellent job, and you just know you are. So
That's me.
Question.
But
you're a good mother.
Well, it's like this. It's like there's no such thing as a perfect person, but because I can recognize that, I'm a perfect person.
Well, first of all,
See what I'm saying?
Let me correct you on 2 accounts. First of all, through Jesus Christ, all things are possible.
Because also, yeah, I know that I need to. I have to question things to be a good parent, but because I know that, I'm a good parent. I know that I need to question that I'm a good parent to be a good parent because I know that I'm a good parent. Oh no, it is.
I think a good parent would.
It's a nice tight circle.
Favorite out of
it's a nice tight circle. I love both my kids equally. Yeah. No one listened to that X-Men episode. It's got like 20 listens. They'll never know.
They'll never know until somebody goes back for it. I have that on a hard drive, on a flash drive.
This will be my
Jack. Listen to this when you're
This will be my this will be my dear moment. That X-Men episode will be my dear moment for Bojack, which is the thing that comes back to haunt me later.
Okay.
I don't know if those are equivalent.
It's the worst thing I've ever done.
Okay.
Yeah, is say that one of my kids is not my favorite. It's the worst thing I've ever done.
It's actually very messed up when you think about it.
Anyway.
True, but messed up.
Every parent has.
Princess Caroline, what else makes her... What's another great moment for her?
Well, like you said, her humor is very good, but I don't have any specific quotes.
I dropped some Zap Brannigan quotes last time. I'll find some Princess Caroline quotes. Sebastian, tell us about...
not the same characters. Zap Brannigan.
But I guarantee you, some of her little crazy tongue twisters are in here somewhere.
Oh, without a
Anyway, go ahead, Sebastian. What are some great episodes or moments for... who are you doing again?
Diane.
There's the Vietnam episode.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that's the beginning of the last season, right? Season 5? I don't know.
What's the crux of that episode? She's trying to figure out about her past?
She's trying to get her a sense of identity. Because before then, she talks, you get a sense of her moral compass and, the social issues she stands on. And is this around the time when she does the help out, what's his name? Sebastian Sinclair?
I want to say it's after that?
That's after?
I don't know.
But the Vietnam episode is very good. You think it's done that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh. That was last season.
I think it was good.
But she comes back not getting that sense of identity, I feel. She just comes back with the dumb hat or whatever, and she's depressed.
What's
and
wrong with that hat? Why is it dumb?
The rice
She bought it from a tourist shop or something.
So not the sakat?
The rice hats? Yeah, is that what they're called?
I assume so.
But that's when she lives in the shitty apartment, and then I guess gets peanut butter to cheat.
Yeah.
Because she's very depressed at that point.
But depression seems to be a very central theme in
one of the very first quotes is not one of the tongue twisters for Princess Caroline, but it's what I was just talking about, which is Bojack saying to Princess Caroline, "Oh my God, we just broke up. Don't call me anymore." And she says, "Yeah, but I'm still your agent. I pride myself on my ability to separate my professional life from my personal life," which she doesn't do very well, like we were saying. But anyway, Diane, that Vietnam episode's cool. I think her character's cooler in this latest season. I like the stuff that they're getting into with her, writing for this and trying to make news that she wants to make, but this corporate guy owning the news and sort of not letting her. And
talking about I guess clickbaity. Type articles.
Yeah, they want her to do that, but she doesn't want to.
She's been struggling with that for a couple of seasons at that job, right?
Yeah, just a couple. Because it was new. I forgot how she got hired there.
It's with a company that, just does a lot of generic BS, and she wants to do...
So BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Daily Mail in the UK, which is trash.
dailymail.co.uk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sensational pieces, but she's trying to do something real. That's what she usually
tells her.
It's something that she does a lot, right? Isn't there some point during one of the other seasons where she literally goes to a war zone or something?
That's what I was trying to talk about. Because I don't remember when that was.
But it reminded me of that. There's a Tina Fey movie where she plays a journalist who goes to a war zone, but it's after stuff bad stuff happens in her life, she goes to the war zone because it's I'm going to be one of those journalists who's gets famous for being on the front lines and depicting all this stuff. She goes out there
Anderson Cooper.
Something like that, yeah.
Love talking about Anderson Cooper.
But then she sort of gets there and everyone's oh, you're another one of those journalists who's coming out here to be just to find yourself or make a name for yourself. And there's other people who've been there for 10 years on this Afghanistan war or something, I think she's in Pakistan in the Tina Fey movie. But the point is she doesn't know what she wants. So why not be a war correspondent, because that sounds exciting and fun and stuff like that. And she's doing it for the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of the plot for that, right? Or a little bit.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that.
That might be the case for a lot of things with their character. And just
doing stuff for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, the right things, but
she was ghostwriting, and then Bojack told her he didn't like the book that she ghost wrote. That was in the second season or whatever.
I think it's very first.
Yeah, very.
That all comes to a head in the first season too.
I want to say so.
Okay, but she wants to put it out, and he won't let her. So she like leaks a chapter of it out. And anyway, I think like everyone gets pissed at her after the book's published because she like airs a lot of dirty laundry. I feel like that might be what leads to like her and Mr. Peanut Butter breaking up. I don't know. Maybe it's because she slept with Bojack. That could be it. Did she sleep with Bojack? I can't even remember.
Undoubtedly.
Okay. Everyone has slept with Bojack. What else makes Diane good though? I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, she's just as broken as Bojack. I mean, she's depressed, trying to find herself.
Yeah, but like I said, just more relatable.
Because she's a human, or?
Yeah, human, young.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
like
closer to our generation, yeah.
Yeah.
Bojack is not, besides being an alcoholic and like all these other things, is also going through a midlife crisis, you could argue. Like, there's stuff like that going on. One of my favorite episodes with Mr. Peanut Butter, it comes in the season that you haven't even seen yet, Matt, which is him and, what's her name? What's the pug's name?
It starts with a P. Not Pebbles. Is that it?
God dang, we need to know this name.
Pickles. No?
Pickles.
Could be.
Yeah,
Yes, Pickles.
Something weird like that.
I think it's Pickles, yeah. So him and Pickles come home, and at the door he tells her that he cheated on her. But what's amazing is they come in, and it was supposed to be like a surprise party for Mr. Peanut Butter. Literally everyone is there, right? But they do such a stupid episode where literally the entire episode is them arguing, walking around the house while everyone hides and sneaks around furniture. And as they get to the piece of furniture with the people, they badmouth those people. So like, yeah, he's like in front of, and Mr. Peanut Butter is a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, but they get in front of like where her parents are, and he's like, and don't get me started on your stupid parents, and like just really goes in on their parents. And like the dad wants to say something, but the mom is like covering his mouth, and he's like, your dad's such a hot-tempered whatever, and if he ever heard anybody talking to him like this, he would want to punch him in the face. And he's like literally on the ground like struggling and stuff. It's so stupid. So good. I love those absurd episodes. It's so funny.
Were we talking about Mr. Peanut Butter already?
Mr. Peanut Butter, yeah.
Jeez. He's definitely full of Bojack. And I feel like, because you guys feel like he's not depressed, but I feel like there are definitely traces of that within him. Because he knows that Bojack hates him.
Yeah, but I feel like he doesn't care. I don't know. I feel like
he's unwilling to admit it.
Care. No,
he still calls him his best friend.
No, literally, there's a quote where he's like, I know that you don't like me, or something like that, but he's obviously still willing to be his friend. Or try to be his friend, because I think that he's the only one he can really relate to is Bojack, because the way that they came up is very similar, and just the circumstance they find themselves. Secondly, like whenever Bojack and Peanut Butter get together, Bojack's always just a complete asshole to him. No one stays around someone that's an asshole to them nonstop unless he felt like he deserved that sort of abuse or something from them. That's what I think, at least.
I can't.
I think it's still playing also on like his dog.
Just being a dog. Yeah, also that too. I mean,
a dog is going to be loyal even if you're an abuser.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
What are you saying? Can we get Reese in here?
Reese tell-all. Reese tell-all. I got a good Princess Carolyn one-liner, which, by the way, she's a cat. Cat got your tongue. She does a lot of like tongue twisters. Maybe there's something like that in there. I was just thinking about. In the season where Bojack, like one of the bad press things that he gets is that he like accidentally ate a Navy SEAL's food or something like that, a veteran, not a veterinarian, but because that could be confusing to show with a bunch of animals. You know? But he's literally a SEAL who is a Navy SEAL who's a veteran Navy SEAL, and Bojack accidentally eats a sandwich or something. I can't remember exactly what the plot is, but it looks bad. And like the paparazzi type people, there's two birds, like a little bird told me kind of thing. Yeah. It's two birds that like catch it and like I can't remember who goes wild with it, and they're like making Bojack look bad. But Princess Caroline calls Bojack and she says, "To me, there's nothing the least bit funny than stealing a meal from Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL." And that was early. So that was like one of the early ones. The other they get
way more insane.
They get crazier. I gotta find them. But anyway, there we go. That's my Princess Caroline tongue twister check-in. Back to Mr. Peanut Butter.
I mean, okay, so as far as the thing about the Bojack thing, whether or not he actually knows, it says that, there's a quote, hold on, let me find this. It says, "All I ever wanted was to be your friend and you treat me like Big Joke." So he obviously knows.
He knows that
Bojack hates him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like at a certain point, Bojack doesn't hate him.
I think he's just stopped seeing him as a rival. I think he was annoyed by him because he felt like Mr. Peanut Butter, he thinks Mr. Peanut Butter's happy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one, but I don't think he really is. I mean, he may be.
No, but I'm saying I think Bojack thinks he is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so that pisses Bojack off. Because it's like, how could you be happy? You're not even as successful as I am.
Correct,
that kind of thing.
Because it's a spinoff, right?
Yeah. But Bojack, it is a spinoff. But also Bojack is like, he thinks that success equals happiness.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And that's what the show is constantly trying to tell us.
Oh, sure.
I mean, successes can make you happy.
Oh, no, for sure.
They won't make you completely happy, though.
Yeah.
You know? If you're holding on to that, you feel the success, you feel the high of it, and then after it's gone, you won't be. I mean, you got to find something else. You got to chase another success.
Yeah, I feel like Mr. Peanut Butter, they definitely do play up the dog stuff a lot more. Yeah. Like, there's another time he was talking about basically life is you just chase a bunch of stuff until you eventually just die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you surround yourself with a bunch of unimportant stuff that makes you happy, and then you just die, which is how a dog would be.
Yeah.
In that way. But I feel like Bojack's not really. I mean, how do you ascribe personality to a horse? I'm not a horse person, so I wouldn't know. Like, how would you characterize a horse? For dogs, it's very easy because it's so common. Everybody knows that they're just happy, not really concerned with the future and things like that. Which is an aspect of Mr. Peanut Butter because he goes like bankrupt at some point, right?
Yeah. Princess Carolyn quote check-in, tongue twister check-in. You're the new face of Guten Bourbon. What's Guten Bourbon? It's an urban German. It's an urban German bourbon. Am I just hungover or are you talking like a Muppet? That's what Bojack says to her. Yeah. That's a short one too, man. There's longer ones I know for sure. I'll find them. Oh, his name's Todd Chavez, by the way. I just saw it.
Thanks.
Todd Chavez.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, so the point is PB is good because, I don't know. He's both happy-go-lucky, but he's also, I think he has a lot of depth to him. I think he's closer to depressed than people think he is just because outwardly he has the characteristic aspects of a dog.
Yeah. Which is
his life's not really that.
It
awesome
is funny that we're trying to prove how depressed he is because I think like in the '90s episode or '90s horror, we're like, which one's the most horrifying character, right? Yeah. This is a show about depression, so we need to figure out who's the most depressed character. Is it Diane, Bojack?
It's not who's the
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Not Peanut Butter.
Peanut Butter's not the most depressed.
I certainly there are aspects of depression.
I think Diane and Bojack are the most depressed.
But it's not. I think that's what makes him cool. Is it's not his whole personality.
Yeah.
He's also a dude who's trying to do a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But there are aspects of him that are reflected in Bojack. He's just the depressed dude deep down.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that he's just really bad in relationships as well, much like Bojack, but for different reasons. Not because he's abusive towards substance or like people or things like that. He just doesn't ever listen to his girlfriends or whatever, and that's why he can never get out of or get into a serious relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Diane always tells him like these are the things that you like. I don't want in a relationship, but he always does them anyway because he's also kind of a self-centered piece of shit. But maybe that's just because he's a dog. I don't know because he doesn't really have the foresight or capability to think about.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, the reason I think of happy-go-lucky is I'm just seeing him as a dog.
But he's capable of deeper thought.
But like you said, he does get meta and say like I'm just a joke to you, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's talking to the audience too,
exactly.
in a way.
And I think he's a central part of the whole Horseman lore, right?
This is my last Princess Carolyn tongue twister check-in. She's talking to Todd Chavez. I just found out. You know the actress Courtney Portnoy? I think so, says Todd. Then she says, she portrayed the formerly portly consort on the Seaport Resort. Courtly roles like the formerly portly consort are Courtney Portnoy's forte. But she's got a new action movie that's supposed to change her image. Mrs. Taken. You know, like Mr. Taken from the Taken movies. This is his niece.
Mr. Taken.
Mr. Taken from the Taken movies.
They couldn't get Leanne on, so...
Yeah, so they got Courtney Portnoy.
Yeah. But they couldn't even get her, so they just had to reference.
Yeah, this was supposed to be Courtney's crossover coronation, but that's sort of been thwarted, unfortunately, because Courtney's purportedly falling short of shoring up 4-quadrant support. That's the kind of thing you get with Princess Carolyn.
So what then? Have we covered everything already? No, surely.
It's a comedy also. Who's the funniest character? I think Todd makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Peanut Butter makes me laugh a lot. I think he's probably...
Mr. Peanut is hilarious.
He's probably the funniest character out of all of these, right?
Vincent Adult Man.
Vincent Adult Man's hilarious.
He's in there so little, but every time I see him, I'm just like,
Yes.
God, it's so absurd that nobody... everybody knows that he's 3 Kids in a Trench Coat, except for Princess
Carolyn, who's in denial about it, yeah. God.
It has to be some form of denial, right? Because it's very... Like, isn't one of his hands literally like...
A broom or something.
A broom or something?
Yeah, but she's so absorbed with work that she does not notice.
Yeah.
That's what it's such a great character. And so well written, the ideas. The whole show is just metaphor after metaphor.
Vincent Adult Man is just an aspect of Princess Carolyn. He's just there to service that particular aspect of Princess Carolyn. But I love that character. It's so funny.
Yeah.
They're stacking 3 kids on a trench coat, but we only ever see one of the kids. The top kid, Vincent.
Vincent, adult. Also, is like a name that they made up on the fly, like adult man.
Adult man. That sounds like a stupid name that we would use.
Yes.
Just in general.
So good.
No, for sure. No, Peavy's hilarious.
I mean, Bojack's actual last name is Horseman.
Yeah, Horseman,
so
exactly. Yeah.
Adult man, it's not
that big of a stretch.
Yeah.
These are the names in this universe.
Yeah.
So.
Bojack can be funny. It's just all very dark.
Bojack, well, he shits on people a lot. Like, he'll come in and, like, say things. He's very sarcastic.
One-line quips.
He's very sarcastic. He quips. Yeah, he quips a lot, which those can be funny.
Which is, I mean, it's never sincere, is it? It's just
plot drivers, I mean, he's going to drive the plot a lot. You know, it's his actions that sort of propel a lot of the story, you know. And the characters are sort of being affected by him or hanging on to him in some way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But they're, I think, some of the best episodes.
I assume that all the side characters are some reflection of one aspect of Bojack's personality.
I do think, though, that the best episodes are the ones that focus on, like, one character. Like, the underwater one focuses on Bojack. The monologue one, I mean, literally focuses on Bojack. Like, there's no... It's just him standing in front of a casket.
Do you think this is just one take? You just
Hell no.
Will Arnett, no way.
Hell no.
All I wanted was to make one really great fake advertisement. I thought if I could do it, then maybe I'd finally be happy. And it was going to be the Bojack one. I paid for animals to come out to be on the ad because I thought, hey, it's a show about animals. I could have some, make some noise or something in the commercial. But I kept running into problem after problem. First, the guy who said he was going to bring the pony said that he couldn't anymore because it was a little horse. And then this guy who was supposed to bring me some aquatic river mammals, he just kept making excuse after excuse. They just kept getting odder and odder. And so finally I just said, it's done. I have to give up. But it's okay. Because I think in that moment I realized that true happiness, it's not permanent. It's fleeting. You know, it comes and goes and in waves. Just because I do one great commercial that thematically links up with the show I'm talking about doesn't mean I'm going to be happy. But I'll probably make more, and I think they're going to be better. Because from now on, I know that happiness comes from within. And so now I can just make the best commercial I can to make the show better. And it would be, you know, it would be nice if there was a book or show out there that could have distilled this message. It took me 30 years to learn this. Until there is one, I'm going to be watching the last 4 episodes of Bojack, trying to figure out my next move.
Then I think one of the best episodes is Princess Caroline with the baby, like, very focused on her that episode and, like, the making multiples of her and that kind of thing.
And in previous season, you had her when she's trying to, like, adopt the baby and she's dealing with the foster mom and stuff.
Yes. And that doesn't work out, does it? Or does it? It's not the porcupine. It's a woman. It's like a real human woman that she's trying to adopt the baby from.
I thought it was
I can't remember.
I thought that is where she ended up getting the baby.
Maybe,
it was back and forth.
Maybe it was a porcupine and then knocked the woman out.
Porcupine
Maybe the porcupine knocked up the human lady. I can't remember. Tweet us. Get on our social media and let us know all the things that we got wrong.
Oh, I'm sure so many things. The chronology, definitely.
Oh, man, we've mixed up a lot of stuff. So please tell us everything we did wrong. Then the episode with Diane in Vietnam, focused on Diane. That's a really good episode. So like, I feel like episodes that shine are when they take a character and they really focus on them and stuff like that.
How was that one laid out? I can't remember. Was it like a journal or like letters? I felt like it was like a flashback of sorts.
Let us know how dumb we are on Instagram and Twitter for talking about a show that we know nothing about. Yeah, I don't know. I can't
familiar
remember.
with the themes. I feel like that's the most important thing.
I know the theme song.
Okay.
It's just like very trippy, like
I love that theme song.
And the beginning also makes you not think the show is going to be anything good. The intro is very different from how the show looks actually, and it's got that like saxophone at the end, like yeah, it's good. But I think when I first saw the intro, like I was like, I'll give the show a shot because I love Will Arnett. That's why I wanted to watch. I was like, I like Will Arnett.
I don't think I watched it until season 3 was already out, and I heard it was a good show. So then season 1 it was pretty slow.
I watched it because Arrested Development was in hiatus, and I liked Will Arnett, and I wanted to watch a show with him that he did. And but then I saw the intro, and I was like, oh, this show's gonna be weird. It's not gonna be good.
Oh no, it is weird.
And I think the only reason I got into the show was because I was doing something else while watching it. Like I was gaming while watching it, but then I kept getting distracted by the show. Like the show was pulling me in more than the game was eventually, and so then I realized how good the show was. But honestly, it is one of those shows that I feel like people probably wouldn't give a chance unless they just or like someone like us who's like, I'll throw something on.
The thing is, for me, it's apparently not even good enough for me to finish the show.
Oh God, no, it is. It is so good.
No, the thing is, when I watched it, I enjoyed it a lot. Also, just stupid stuff that happens in the show. Bojack steals the D from the Hollywood sign.
He does, and then for the rest of the series,
just call Hollywood.
It becomes Hollywood, and I forgot about that. I just remember them calling it Hollywood, and I was like, oh, that's just another quirk of the show. No, it's because he stole the D. And then everyone just starts calling it Hollywood.
Yeah. Hollywood.
So weird.
Yeah, so many absurd things can happen in this cartoon.
Which is that another metaphor of, or another symbol of, like, you know, your actions. Well, no, your actions have consequences. Like, you can't, it's not going to fix, them. You can't escape them. You took that D, and so now it's Hollywood.
Yeah. Also, I feel like there was that, Bojack tries to get into fitness.
Does he?
He tries to like jog one time. That's like one of the ways he tries to circumvent depression. Although that's making fun of people who just say like, just go to the gym, it'll fix your depression and stuff. Which is obviously not the case. But he's also not very good at jogging, which is surprising because he is a horse. So you'd assume that'd be one of the few things that he is very.
I love that episode after he was sort of broken down. I think it was before he goes into rehab, where he runs with the wild stallions.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
He runs with the wild stallions. Which is cool.
Do they have intelligence, or
they do? They're runners.
Horses.
They're runners.
Just marathon runners.
They're marathon runners just running in the desert.
Are there any non-sentient animal characters?
I thought there were.
Because shows similar, Tuca and Birdie, there are non-sentient. Yeah. But they make jokes about that.
What about Disney, where Mickey Mouse has a fucking pet dog, and then also has a friend who's a dog? It's like, what
Goofy,
the fuck is going on here?
Dog is debatable. I don't.
Really
Goofy is a dog. Pluto is like
also a dog.
Yeah, mentally challenged, and they treat him like an animal.
Goofy is the dumbest out of the trio.
Yeah.
So he is barely evolved past.
Yeah.
I don't know. Goofy's a great father. I don't know why I'm disrespecting him.
Goofy's a great dad.
Goofy's not only a great dad, he's just a good person. He's just a great guy.
We're saving this for the Disney Channel movies.
He also defends the Keyblade wielder and helps.
No, Goofy's insane. Yeah, I don't know why I'm disrespecting this man. This guy's awesome.
Yeah. He's King Mickey's top knight, dude.
I hate.
We will talk about Kingdom Hearts in a future episode.
Hate real dogs, love fictional dogs. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at. Love Mr. Peavy.
Like Cujo.
Love Goofy.
Wait.
Cujo is a killer dog, right? The fictional dogs. Yeah. So, on Instagram, I asked, who is the best character on Bojack Horseman? And I got an overwhelming 2 responses.
2 more than normal.
One was from a guy named Rafo Bafo.
Do you know him?
I don't.
Absolutely.
This is a podcast that has gone beyond the reach of our friend group.
Let me read the name.
These are people I don't know that are responding to this.
Yeah, it's definitely Rafobafo.
Okay. Rafobafo. It's a Princess Carolyn tongue twister. Rafobafo.
Like Bobobo.
Thank you for responding. He said Princess Caroline and Diane, so he gave you 2 props.
Oh, yeah.
I did say
no, they're good. They're good.
I did say explain why, and this rando didn't say why.
Well, it's not random.
Thanks for
fan.
It's a fan of your podcast. It's actually fucked up that you just called him a random.
Thanks for engaging on our Instagram. I appreciate that. And
he has things to do. He's a busy guy.
And you got to shout on the episode. I'm paying him right now, and then also punishing him.
Okay. So you're saying there can't be pleasure without pain?
That's right.
That's fucked up.
That's Full Metal Alchemist episode. We're gonna do that later.
This was a 50 Shades of Grey thing.
Oh god.
Okay. Very similar.
We'll do 50 Shades of Grey next, also.
Whole trilogy.
And then a man going by the name of Gusto M88.
Who the hell is that? That's insane.
He was on the X-Men episode of our podcast. It's Luis Mendoza. He said Charlie the intern, who we have not mentioned. He's a tree frog. I did not remember him until I searched him up, and I said, again, also.
He's a meek little asshole, right? No, that's just how he is presented.
I said why, and he said he just makes me laugh every time he's in a scene. He's always a standout. Like every time he's in a scene, he's funny. So, Charlie the tree frog.
No, I love characters like that are not important, that are completely unimportant to the plot, but they're just funny. Yeah. They show up and you're like, oh, so he's going to say something so absurd. Or
There isn't any iconic ones like Futurama, but
they
still exist.
Zap's literally the top of.
So we talked about plot drivers, Bojack, because he's Bojack. He's the main character of the show.
Bojack and Diane.
Depressed Bojack and Diane.
I'd say no. I'm saying it's Diane. I think is a good plot driver in a lot because she has her own episodes too, and I feel like she's important.
I'd say Mr. Peanut Butter is the funniest out of all of us.
Yeah, sure.
Princess Caroline, most relatable because she's actually like a person.
Yeah,
like,
she's very real.
Yeah.
Not a caricature, just.
Well, we said Diane's relatable too, but In a
I
different
feel
way.
strange because I don't know.
Princess Caroline is
never felt separated from my
Princess
Asian
Caroline
roots.
is the Leela of this show. Like she's the not just because she's a female character, because Diane, there's more than one female character on the show.
2.
There's 2.
Absolutely. More than
Well,
one.
there's also they do a lot of like I think the latest season where he filmed that TV show.
Isn't
I
there a
liked
bit
that female
with,
character.
Yeah.
Who's that one actress?
She was very complex.
The method actress. She appears on like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, not a method actress. She's a
Character actress Margot
Character
Martindale.
actress.
Margot Martindale
Playing herself.
like herself.
on many
No,
episodes.
that bit is hilarious.
That's pretty
Yes.
funny. That's pretty funny. Margot Martindale does appear quite a bit, and she's always doing some like crazy shit.
Insane thing.
Yeah. No, the woman who's in the show with Bojack, it's like a police show or whatever, and it's very successful. And she has a really complex character because she dates Bojack, and then he chokes her or whatever, and she gets pissed off. She goes and does the scenes with him though, like really professional, and then when it's over, she's like, "Screw you, get away from me."
Yeah.
And then Bojack, like, he's like, "I feel bad." And this is another thing about Bojack's actions, like he thinks that his actions are going to solve things, like apologize and stuff like that. And he's like, "I think I want to go and say something. I want to come clean about this." And he goes, "No." She's like, "No." She's like, "You." This is the complexity. I was very surprised by this. But it's an interesting take. She was like, first of all, you and I are the only ones that know about it. You said sorry to me, whatever. I don't care. Let's move on. You don't need to say anything to anybody else. It doesn't matter, right? And then he keeps going. And she goes, if you go and say something, then I'm going to be the actress that Bojack strangled. I'm not going to be who I am. And so please don't do it. And then I think he ends up, you know, they're in the middle of an interview or whatever. And he ends up bringing it up because he just,
He's a selfish asshole.
and that's really cool because it's like, it's interesting because it's like what their showrunner I feel like is doing is like, yeah, you feel guilty, but is coming clean for you or is it for other people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for Bojack, I think it was for himself in that moment.
No, there's definitely a long occurring things of Bojack ignoring just the things that just all people.
Yeah.
He just cares about himself.
And so then there's questions about celebrities who apologize and stuff like that, and then the Mr. Peanut Butter thing in later season about him, oh, sad dog or whatever. It's like, are you apologizing, coming clean as publicity, or is it, you know, I mean, why are you doing it? What's the reason behind it, you know?
Peanut Butter's the same way as he just disregards the things that his girlfriends say they want and just does what he wants to do anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously on a much smaller scale. It's a lot less important.
I always just thought he was like a simple dog who just doesn't even think about things and just does them.
I
Like,
mean, no, there is that too. That's what makes him good. He could either just be a simple dog,
Yeah.
or he could have deeper motives.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still the person, is what I'm saying.
He's actually a dog.
A dog.
All right.
And
The show's weird as hell. So who's the weirdest character?
Weirdest.
Like who's just very strange? I feel like Mr. Peanut Butter is very strange. Like
because he's most dog and also
who
most
does weird?
Yeah.
Who's like a bizarre character? Who's just crazy
Adultman.
weird. Vincent Adulman's a very bizarre character. Like that would have to be top of the bizarre
no,
characters
he's
if someone picked it.
Uh,
All right. Well, I mean, you know,
Is that it?
yeah, I think it's a short show. It's only 6 seasons.
Oh, no.
And I think it really focuses
Yeah, they are
on.
so short.
I think it focuses on the characters we picked. Really, I mean, Todd is the only one we didn't pick.
Todd's a nice little character.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Can we know this for the Todd?
Vincent Adulman.
surprise episode where we just pick all characters we didn't select. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. And we
The
mentioned
thing is, the show is... It's hard to talk more about it because you really just got to watch it.
that's true. That's the thing is like if you have not seen the show, we ruined a lot of it, but you'll forget about
It's
it.
very emotional,
It is very good.
and not in a good way either. You're like, fuck Bojack, and a lot of the F's are the way things
But
are.
I think
Fuck these characters.
again, I feel like it's trying to drill a philosophy into your head, which it's teaching. I think the show is trying to show you something
so.
about happiness and about depression and about all these things,
Because
relationships.
they're all just like, that's not the life I lead.
Well, when I watch Bojack, I don't even see him as a horse anymore. Like he's just a character. Like it's
I
not
see him
even
exclusively as a horse, no
All right.
man.
No
Just
man,
horse.
horseman.
Like, actually, when I see a horse in real life, if they don't behave as Bojack behaves,
Yeah.
we got a problem.
Oh shit.
My reality gets
I will
shattered. into
Crack open a
pieces.
White Claw for him, just like
Yeah.
put in a little trowel.
Actually, yeah. So what's
Since you're a huge fan of the show, long fan of the show, Sebastian, you know that we do a countdown and we select our favorite character
Mm-hmm.
from the choices here. Yeah,
And we have 4.
we have 4 choices. Yeah,
So Bojack.
so we got to think about the best character. I'm trying to think right now.
I already know the best character.
Have one.
I
If
argued
you don't
for,
know, then you don't know. Don't even vote. See, you can circumvent this. Someone just count down, and then he has to say something.
That's true.
If there's one thing I know that a
But-
white man won't do, it's break tradition. So,
No, it's tradition. Yeah,
it's tradition for a
You don't-
reason.
Yeah, you don't.
You just do it. Don't question it.
No.
It's so simple. Everybody should know.
Okay.
All right, so 3, 2, 1.
Princess Carolyn.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that I stuck with Bojack because I do feel that he has like plot drive and stuff like that. But you guys both said Princess Caroline.
Yes.
I love Princess Caroline. I think she should win.
Your brother's got the crunch, but yeah, I mean they're all good characters.
The
So
crunch. I hate you so much.
Princess Caroline.
The character itself has a lot.
She's really
to
cool.
into.
She's a cool character.
Yeah.
Basically, the shittiest
like her.
character.
She's the only one that I really want to root for. You know.
I find
That's what
myself
I'm saying.
relating more to her now.
But does that make her a good
Show came out.
character? I guess the answer is yes, because she is the best character.
Because
at
they
this
developed
point.
her the best.
We picked her. Yeah, we
From the
picked
way
her.
she was to the way she became.
Yeah.
When the show came out, I was still in like college, but now working,
What?
not finding time.
Yeah, Princess Caroline, I think, is the one that I root for the most. So we didn't say that.
I feel like she does the least amount of wrong for the characters that go through the most amount of shit.
Or she just doesn't actively do that.
She also-
I
again-
think she's definitely not a perfect person, but she does her best to help all the other characters.
And there's one thing I didn't say. I said, shows about depression, most depressed characters, shows about comedy, but then I also said the shows about how to handle these certain things. And I feel like Carolyn is sort of our good example of like, she is working. She's working her butt off to get to those things. And she's not putting all of her money on that thing. You know what I'm saying? Where some of the other characters are doing that and then finding out that it doesn't bring them happiness.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I don't think that she thinks that a baby's going to bring her happiness. I think she just thinks she wants to be a mother.
Yeah.
No.
Which I don't relate to, but certainly somebody does.
Being a mother?
Yeah, you don't want to be a mother.
Well, not being a mother or the desire to be a mother.
Yeah.
So, but there are people. Certainly.
There are people. There are a number of people in this world.
At least one.
All right, man.
I can't believe it. We did it again. We figured out who the best character is in whatever we're talking about, despite the podcast being called Your Favorite Character Sucks. Now the only question is, what should we do next? You can help us decide by following us at YFCS Pod on Instagram and Twitter and telling us which show, movie, series, book you think we should do. Until then, hit that subscribe button and catch us on the next episode. Thanks for listening.